Welcome to another episode of the Make Mental Health Matter show. I am your host, Kelli Melissa Reinhardt, and as with every show, I am very excited for my guest, as you can see here, but I'm going to properly introduce her here in just a moment. We were actually just chatting before, we went live about how long we've known each other, which is super fun. So we'll tell a little bit more about that story. And you're getting Kelli squared today. So let me properly introduce. So Kelli Paris is the founder and director of Break the Silence, a nonprofit organization focused on mental health awareness, suicide prevention, and recovery using music as a platform. A passionate advocate and with lived experience, Kelli with a Y has built a movement and community that centers on connection, peer support, and community healing. She leads year-round programming, including support groups, youth initiatives, veteran outreach, and public education. Kelli is the driving force behind the annual Break the Silence Festival, which we'll talk more about, which draws attendees and partners from across the U.S., and the Life is Beautiful concert series, which uses music as a platform of hope and awareness. Her work bridges gaps in access, reduces stigma, and empowers people to speak up and seek help. Kelli's passion to make a difference in the lives of others continues to lead Break the Silence in building a stronger, more compassionate world. So
thank you so much for having me.
Of course. I'm excited. I know we've been talking for years probably at this point.
Very excited. And I always want to get up here and do stuff, but then I'm always like, oh, really an hour and 30-minute drive one way. So I was like, yay, we can do it. Let's go.
Yes.
So here we are.
Yeah. So Kelli lives in Fort Morgan,
right,
which is an hour and a half from Denver.
A little bit, nice little scenic drive into the rural northeast corner of Colorado.
Yeah, and I know it was 9 years ago, but I don't even remember how we met specifically.
I think it was through the festival, of course, because I was looking for other folks to support the mission, share their stories, and I was married at the time, and my husband at the time, Nick, introduced me to I was already introduced, but I was telling his cousin Renee about Break the Silence and my idea, and she said, oh, I think you should meet my friend Babette. And at that time, that's how I got connected with you.
That makes sense. Yeah, because so it was probably the second year that I came, because it's only been, is it 8? It's 9 years.
9 years. 2006, 17.
17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, we've done 9 events, but maybe it's been 8 years.
Possibly.
A year of planning. So yeah, I always forget the numbers because I'm we were in the parking lot. We were in that little parking lot with the pop-up, which is so fun. I still have the same core sound crew, and this year we're doubling down with 2 stages. So
wow.
Thank you, Kenan, for
Heck yeah.
making that happen. But we had just a little trailer stage, I think.
Yep.
The microphone, and now we have a full amphitheater. Yeah, that's been cool.
I know. I remember because when I spoke, that was actually the first time I had ever spoke publicly about my sister, and I wrote it in my phone, and I was like shaking.
I went back; those memories popped up in my phone. It's been a while, obviously, because we're rolling up on just 8 weeks out. So, of the 9th annual festival. So
that's so cool.
Yeah,
so
tell the audience going from the phone really to TED Talks. So
yes,
that's pretty awesome. So yeah, if I could just achieve that level of growth, I think in my public presentation now,
I think you have. You just don't give yourself credit.
Thank you.
Yes. So tell the audience, I know I just gave an introduction to you, but tell the audience a little bit more about your story.
So I, thank you for that nice introduction, by the way. So I started, for me, music has always been a way of coping with my own mental health. And so just being young, I can remember just struggling, I guess, if now I think back all those years ago, because I'm 43 now. So when I was early teens, just being like, well, now I understand that anxiety is a thing, depression is a thing, or whatever. And growing up in the age that we grew up in, mental health still wasn't really like talked about. And if you think about it for like our parents' example, when they were young, maybe their parents were still like, getting sent out over getting lobotomies and stuff like that, because it was like a real thing you got to be scared about telling people that you're struggling. So that stigma is just like ingrained. So I can remember having struggles and being like, I don't know, a hard kid, if you will. And now looking back and being like, oh, that was anxiety or depression or a little bit of both, or borderline personality disorder, which I just got diagnosed with this year that really fits. So I had an attempt on my life when I was 16. A lot of things had happened and I just kept them all inside. And I'm thankful to God, honestly, now. The journey has not been an easy one that's brought me here, but I'm very thankful to be here and to be able to say that was not the best decision. And I'm very blessed to have been able to walk away from a permanent solution to a temporary problem and be able to tell other people that, it's okay to not be okay, in the sense of just understanding that everybody is different and we all just need like a hand up sometimes.
Yeah. So you at 16 had attempted suicide.
Yeah.
And then I know there's been I know you just said that you were recently diagnosed with BPD, but
huge
there was
gap, huh?
Well, you also, I know just because I know you, but you had so many different diagnoses.
Yeah. Like the wrong ones, you mean?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So there was a time that I just kept all of that in and said nothing. But then it became very apparent, that there were things going on. And I started seeing a therapist or going to counseling or whatever, because that's what you do when you feel fucked up in the head, whatever. Like I was doing all the things, the therapy, the doctors, the things, but I was still, I guess let's fast forward. So I was addicted. I made that attempt on my life, and then I started immediately coping with my undiagnosed and unchecked mental illness with substances, drugs and alcohol, young age. And so I was able to thank God, and like I really do thank God for these things now. At the time I'm just like, whatever this was, but no, coming this far I can look back and see that's what it was. But being addicted to drugs, I stopped doing the drugs very shortly before I turned 21. But then what happens when you turn 21? You get to go to bars and drink, and it's legal to drown away your struggles or whatever. So that's literally what happened until I was well into my 30s. And then I was married and had a house and a car and a husband and a kid and all of the things that one should be happy and grateful for, career, everything. I had been working a decade in the industry that I was working in, insurance, so definitely not where my heart lies, obviously 10 years into this journey, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, I was having a legit mental breakdown and drinking so I'm like, okay, let's stop, let's address that. So I stopped drinking when Abby was about 3. She was a little over 3, and she'll be 12 this next month. So I was like done with that. But okay, great. Now what? Because I'm not utilizing any sort of substances to self-medicate. Now the real work begins. And it doesn't matter. I heard something the other day in the Let Them theory book that I was listening to, which, by the way, everyone listen to it, read it, whatever. The Let Them theory book by Mel Robbins changed my life. The book Worthy by Jamie Kern Lima changed my life. I wish I would have had those books 20 years ago. So please don't just, go download it, Audible, whatever. Yeah, I had a mental breakdown, and I was at the place again where Abby was like 4, I think, when this happened, 2018. And I was like ready to just be like, I have that, it's a diagnosis, suicidal ideation, passive. It goes in, it goes out. And sometimes I'm just like, world, not today, Satan. But then I was like, maybe there's some truth to the fact that this world would be a better place without me in it. And I was sitting there in it deep, like for hours. It was Thanksgiving Day. First time I told this story on a podcast, I couldn't make it through without breaking down. So the second time, I guess we'll see. But Abby came knocking at the door, and she was like, "Mommy, can I have a hug?" And I told her no. Like, I turned her away, and she ran crying. And at that moment, I was like, "Oh my God. Like, I can't be here. This is wrong. Like, this isn't where I need to be. I need to be like the best version of myself for that little human who just wanted a hug." And I like totally crushed her, having a meltdown on Thanksgiving Day where I leave my husband to like prepare everything for us to host dinner in like 2 hours. And I've been having some sort of legit mental crisis for the last 4 hours. So I left a voicemail for this lady who I had seen 5 years prior as a therapist, tried to diagnose me as bipolar at the time. And I was like, that's bullshit. Well, technically, I wasn't bipolar, but she was onto something, And like, she wound up sending me to the Life Healing Center. And I did 28 days of inpatient, and I was on my first year of the festival that year. And so I said, how do I not feel like a failure and be like really giving some truth to building a community for people like me, broken, but wanting to be better and learn how to live a happy, healthy, as a contributing member of society. If I want that for me, I want that for everybody. So how do I get there myself and then show people how to get there? So that was the idea behind just doing the festival. And then it morphed into the festival and the resource center and the programs and the youth group and all the amazing things that happened over the time period, the tours that we're looking to build, the venue shows that we're already doing in Denver. So
yeah,
it's been crazy.
No, it's awesome. Yeah.
It's been fun. So there's that wasn't even the nutshell version.
Right.
I drink out of my wonderful cup.
Your cup. Yeah. So I know, because you got that diagnosis as bipolar, went to the Healing Life Center,
did a bunch
came
of meds
out, and like it seemed like it was like, I don't know, so perspective from Facebook, right?
Yeah.
And talking to you here and there, it seemed like everything was going great up until it wasn't.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you know what, it really was, because it was that like acceptance. Ooh, I have an answer. This is what it is. Great. We can work on this. We can build on this. I just need to get the right dose of the meds. And I was accepting of taking the meds because obviously I truly believe that they are needed sometimes. Like sometimes you need them. And if I was truly going to be accepting and sitting in the fact that I had bipolar, then I need the meds. So I diligently took them for 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And they just kept upping my doses to the point, and then I kept getting side effects from the meds. So instead of just being on 3 bipolar meds, I was on 9 different medications for all of the side effects.
Wow.
I weighed like 118 pounds. My hair was falling out in clumps. I was sick. I had because I was getting very bad vertigo, like nausea, vomiting, dizziness. So I went to a neurologist, and she gave me these scopolamine patches. And this was like right through the shutdown. So they kept like delaying my appointment, obviously, because then it wasn't like, you're not dying. So we're not, medically necessary to see you inpatient or like in person or whatever. So I wore those scopolamine patches to help with my vertigo for like 9 solid months before I finally went to another doctor who said, no, take that off. And I really apologize, but the withdrawals are going to be absolutely excruciating. And it was like I was like withdrawing off of meth. It reminded me of that when took me 20 years to that experience. And I was so violently ill off of those meds. I had fatty liver disease. I had elevated cholesterol, elevated blood pressure from all of these side effects. So it took me about 7 months to get off all the meds.
Wow.
And then about 2 years for me to admit that whatever it wasn't going away. It wasn't bipolar, but what was it? So I found, God drops those people when he's supposed to. So I got linked up with this other psychiatrist lady who, after a few appointments, I mean, the first appointment, I loved her and I was like, we're on to something. This is great. Because it's like, and I will say this 100 times. I found my team my therapist when I came out of Life Healing Center. And I've been seeing her since like 2018. Sometimes it's every week. Sometimes it's once a month. I just got to check in, right now we're at every week and we have been for the last 18 months and that's fine. Sometimes I just, need that. But I found this lady got diagnosed with ADHD and BPD instead and was like, oh my God, there's something to this. Started taking the ADHD meds. Realized that I have some sort of neurological issues that need addressed. So we're working on that. But yeah, no more antipsychotics and, whatever else they had me on. Seizure meds.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's what they give you for, anti-seizure meds. So yeah, no more of that. I didn't need it.
I didn't realize, I mean,
it was crazy.
I knew that they put you on a whole bunch, but I didn't realize it was 9. Holy moly.
Time, and it was like they were all laid out in a semicircle right here on the table, and I was like, took a picture of it, and I'm like, this is my life now.
You're like, I went from substances to substances.
Yeah, and then it was like literally killing me. But and I was like listening to the doctor. So I went back to that lady who sent me to Life Healing Center, and I said, I don't think I have bipolar. And she did not agree. It didn't end well. I remember the phone call. I remember listening to her on the other end, like being upset, like, wow, that's like abandonment, because she's like, this is why people with diagnosis hurt themselves or other people, is going unmedicated. And I'm not gonna, because she was just like wanting to refill my prescriptions. And I'm like, no, like she helped me so much with the life healing, but and I said, it's not that I feel like there isn't something wrong with me. I just feel like it might not be bipolar, and these medications are really like fucking me up. Yeah. Can't take them anymore. And so that was she's like, I'll send you a letter where you're no longer my patient. And I was like, okay, I look forward to that letter. I never got it, but I also never talked to her again either. But still,
he also takes people out of your life.
Yeah, she did save my life, and showed me equine therapy and all these other things that was proof that there is like a traditional avenue for recovery, but there's also a non-traditional avenue, and there is areas to like bridge the gap between the two. So for that, and also she sent me to Life Healing Center. So like for that, I'll forever be grateful. I think she's still an awesome lady, just unfortunate that it went down that way.
Yeah. Well, and I know, I mean, you kind of had to start doing more investigation, because
it was actually my female doctor, my yearly visit, when I was she's like, so what's been going on? And it was literally like 2 days after I had this phone call. And I say it's a God thing. I know it's a God thing. 100% it's a God thing. But I was just like at my wit's end. And I was the last appointment that day at the women's clinic of the Plains, or whatever they're calling it now. You know what I mean? But I've been seeing this doctor, for this physician's assistant, for a while, and she was just like a wonderful human being. And I was crying, and I was like telling her, and it's like 3-something in the afternoon, and I'm thinking maybe like I must be her last appointment, because they cut out of there around 4 or 4:30. She sat there and she listened to me for, I think we walked out of the office after 5.
Wow.
And at the end of the conversation, she was like, honey, I don't think you have bipolar. And I was like, I don't think I have bipolar either. And she said, I'll help you. So she'd give me the prescriptions, the lesser ones of the meds that I was taking over the 7 months, to help me like wean off of them. And then it turns out I actually have PMDD, which is premenstrual dysmorphic disorder, which also hand in hand with BPD and bipolar gets misdiagnosed all the time. But it's basically, in a nutshell, because obviously it's like this long of it, but it's like a hormonal imbalance can cause you to be up and down. Like I always, I just say it's an episode, because it's like, man, I don't know how else to describe it. Mania or depression. It's like highs and lows. Yeah. These things mimic each other. It could be, I don't have any ill will towards her for insisting that I was bipolar, because I can understand why she did. I can understand why she thought I had explosive rage disorder, intermittent explosive disorder. I'll stand behind that. at that time, those medications and I looked through 3 of the 9 meds that I was taking, and rage was a side effect of all of them. 3 of them.
Check.
So I was like,
check.
I haven't had an intermittent explosive disorder fit of rage in 4.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, do I get like worked up or irritated, or who doesn't? Do I'm not just like whatever, sometimes, but
well, you're a mom and a business owner, and
so, but I think I did find, and I joined a DBT group for help with my diagnosis, I guess, borderline personality disorder, because it's like the emotional overwhelm, the overstimulation it was still to the point within the last 3 months where I have an answer and I'm working on it, I'm doing the things, but it's impacting lifelong relationships. I'm losing people in my life because I can't control my emotions, and because I have extreme overwhelm, and it impacts business relationships, it impacts personal relationships, impacts my family with my friends. And I just have to own up to that and be like, I'm sorry that I hurt you. I look at Facebook and I'm like, oh, add friend. I thought we were friends. What did I do? And then I go in a spiral, and I think the last 4 conversations that I had with that person, what could I have possibly done? And then I beat myself up over it for being such an asshole or a piece of shit human. And oh my God, how could I have done or said or did this? And half the time it's like, I'm triggered, I'm overstimulated, and it had nothing to do with that person. And I had an argument, or I did or said something that I didn't mean, and I can't take that back. And then I'm sorry doesn't fix that all the time.
Yeah.
So I have to accept that. And I'm in a place where there's like accountability, and I wish I could fix some things and go back and do things differently, but I can't.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that makes us human, and you have so many good nuggets that you just brought up, but we have to go to our quick first sponsored break. And then once we come back, I had a thought that popped into my head, as it normally does, and we'll chat about that once we get back.
Sweet. For sponsored break.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt completely alone?
Like your life doesn't matter.
One person dies due to suicide every 40 seconds.
You are not alone. Call the National Suicide Lifeline at 988.
Hope and recovery is possible.
1 in 8 people globally live with a mental disorder.
That's why Empowering Minds saves lives.
We need your help.
With only $19 a month, you help us save lives through mental health and suicide prevention education.
Scan the QR code or go to makementalhealthmatter.org to sign up as a warrior for mental health today.
Hi, my name is Dr. Constance Leland from Level Up Circle TV, where I elevate the world through education, one learner at a time. Join me on Fresh Takes at 9 a.m. Thursday, Pacific Standard Time on E360 TV. Have a fantastic day. Bye.
Are you crypto curious? Maybe it's a little too scary for you to get involved in all this crazy Bitcoin cryptocurrency stuff. Join me, your host, Charlie Stivers of Goose Live. Find us on Achieve TV Thursdays, noon Mountain Time, where we talk all things crypto.
And like that, we're back. If you just happen to be tuning into the if I can talk today, the Make Mental Health Matter show, thank you so much for listening or watching. If you just started listening, make sure you go back, of course, because we've had a whole conversation really learning about Kelli's life and experience and her story. And there were so many good nuggets that you mentioned. And so one of them that popped into my head before we went to the break was your doctor gave you less. So like it wasn't that you just like threw away all those 9 prescriptions, right?
Right.
You had to wean yourself off of them, which I think is an important part of the whole conversation when we talk. And a piece of that you said was prescriptions are important.
Yeah.
But we also like
when
we
you
can't
need
just
them.
keep throwing band-aids at things. Like,
Mhm.
you had side effects, so there's a thing. Here's a side effect. Here's another one.
This
Side
for
effect.
that.
Here's another.
That's what
Yeah.
I called it. It's the
Yeah.
this for that mentality. Oh, hey, you're experiencing a racing heartbeat. I can give you propranolol for that. Well, what's the side effects for propranolol? You know what I mean?
Mixed
Fatty
with
liver,
that.
you know?
Yes.
I don't know. But like my liver enzymes were elevated. The scan showed I had fatty liver issues. I've been sober. I don't drink alcohol. What is this from? It's a direct side effect from the medications. I've been off of all of those meds now for 3 years. I don't have those problems anymore. I take absolutely nothing. Well, except for that ADHD as needed, but I'm off of it because I want to take a brain scan. Anyways,
Okay.
it's a thing. So like there is a place,
Yeah.
time and place for meds, and
Yeah.
I absolutely am looking forward to going back on my Strattera for that ADHD.
Yeah.
Much of that. And therapy works for BPD. It's really helped me. You know, the people close to me in my circle have said, we've noticed a difference, you know, don't beat yourself up. Like, we're here to help you. You're not overloading us type thing, where I'm just like, oh, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to ask for help. I don't want to, I burn people out and I'm too much of it. No, it's just, you got to have the right people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the pill thing was a big thing. Cause I'm like, I've never been anti medication, although I did abuse medication. So there's things that I won't take, like pain medication for my fibromyalgia, for example. I won't take that. The benzos for my anxiety, I won't take those, you know, because I have an addictive, they say it's a thing. Well, there's a diagnosis,
Mhm.
right?
It
But
is.
the substance use disorder or whatever, addictive personality, I think, because it's a thing, it's real, folks.
Yes.
Substances, TV, candy, sugar, whatever. You can get
Caffeine.
addicted.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
caffeine, addicted to anything. It's not just drugs and booze, people.
No. Well, and
Like-
there's legal and illegal and all the,
Yeah.
substances across
So
the
I'm
board.
still substituting. I'm like a one more episode person. Oh, just one more episode, and then the birds are chirping outside, and I'm like, shit.
And the birds.
Oh, the sun is up. I was like 4 episodes. So.
Right. Yeah.
And the series finale, 2 hours long. So yeah,
Yeah.
I do still have that problem with, and I think it's also true to say that I have a problem with like situations in my BPD that I must be accountable for, like dopamine hits from, you know, stupid shit like compulsively shopping for shit that I don't need, and text messages from people I shouldn't be talking to. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a thing that I can recognize now why I struggled in the past with repeating so many cycles.
Interesting.
Yeah. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's so much scientific research really around the brain now. So, as you know, I'm a total nerd about the brain.
I love that. I'm like, how can we? One of my friends is like going to school, so I'm always like, well, what did you learn?
How did you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my really close friends who is also works with the nonprofit now.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed with BPD a while ago, and she's still learning things about herself and the patterns and the beliefs that we have.
For real. And I was like so closed off to that because I'm like, without a doubt in my mind, there's no way I have that. I've been diagnosed with bipolar. I can take meds for that. I don't have BPD. I can't take meds for that. There's no fix. But let me tell you, the actual relief, the switch in that, the flip that I had, it was an actual relief to be like, oh, well, now all I need to do is actually internally do the work and actually accept the fact that I have BPD. So whatever that was.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I got to, the ADHD in action, because I was like, my
I'm
brain
going
was going
somewhere.
somewhere and I forgot where it was. But it's kind of weird because I'm like, I have a close circle of friends, and I'd say, oddly enough, of all of my girlfriends, 70% of them have BPD. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is, now I can talk to you and you can talk to me, and I can see that you're triggered, but I can't see that I'm triggered, but you can, and you can call me out on it, and I can accept it from you because you know how my brain works. And so I'm like, that's a little God thing too, because I'm like, I can't call on my sister when I'm having a BPD episode because it triggers her and it turns into a fight every time. I want her to be the person that I call 24/7, but that's just impossible.
Yeah.
It's just not possible. And so like that really put like like a dagger in our relationship or something, but we got past it. And now we're like, I figured that out. She can't be the person that I call when I'm triggered. She just can't be. She's the one that I want to, but then it always causes a fight, and then it ruins our days or weeks or whatever. And it's just fucking ridiculous, because I know I'm not really mad at her. I'm just triggered over some stupid shit, and I need somebody to talk me down and not be angry at the tone of voice that I have. You know what I mean? So we've been getting along a lot better now that we figured that out. And I just call one of the 3 other friends I have that do have BPD and understand that I am not angry at them, and I am just having an episode. Yeah,
I've actually,
that's
the
word.
That
for
is
it.
the word,
Yeah.
split. I've actually had moments with other friends also that have BPD, and in those moments, right, like in my brain, because we've had calls over phone, and in the moments it's like you can't ever talk anybody out of what's going through your brain, right? But I also have learned how to just listen, right, and reflect back what they're saying, so that your brain starts to pick up on what you're actually saying.
Like the stupidest thing, but the easiest explanation is because, like, my parents have always been super supportive. And one time I was just like, but my dad was like, you just have to, and I was like, no, Dad, you don't understand. I cannot. My fucking frontal cortex is turned off. I'm what's the word? Incapable of like making a decision at that moment that is not driven purely by whatever emotion I'm in right then.
Yeah.
So sometimes I need the rest of the day to cool down, and sometimes I need 15 minutes. But I just need time. Sometimes I need 4 months or a year to get over whatever the hurt or was, or whatever that looks like. But it's not a normal brain. It's like the ADHD on top of the BPD makes this neurodivergent spicy salad, I guess, that I'm still figuring out.
Mix it all together.
So with the dressing on top, it's like, shit. We don't know, but we're figuring it out. So just like I have to have grace for myself, I have to give that to other people too. And then it's made me realize that that also hurt people, and they do things not inherently on purpose to hurt people. And so if I could just make that blanket apology to all those people that I hurt who just walked away and didn't tell me I hurt them. I'm sorry. I was a hurt person. I'm not using that as a crutch, but
well, I think but you just said something really important, at least that like soaks into my brain, is that, okay, so, I'm going to connect a couple things. So you talked about the let them theory, right? It's totally good. The book is amazing. I've also been listening to it on Audible, but a couple things is that those people that maybe you hurt walked away without telling you that they needed what they needed or what happened also was not fair to you. But it's also important for them to understand that they can express what they need, right? Because we as humans, we are in this space that it's like, well, I don't know how to ask for help. I also don't know how to tell people what I need.
Yeah.
And when we don't tell people what we need, we're not mind readers. I will never know.
You only know what you know.
Yes.
And I'm so guilty of just assuming that people know, and they don't have the same heart as you. They don't have the same thought process as you. Just because you would never do that to somebody, because you would consider how it makes you feel, and you wouldn't want to feel like that. They don't mean to be hurting you by whatever decision they're choosing to do. They just don't think about it.
Yeah.
They don't put themselves in your shoes to be like, oh, if that happened to me, I would be hurt. And I'm guilty of being that person. Old Kelli, because I'd like to say that I'm not the same Kelli as I was 3 months ago, as I was 6 months ago, as I was this time 4 years ago. Old Kelli did some fucked up things and was guilty of hurting people, and including myself. But I want to be different, obviously. So that's all I can do is like be better and apologize and do better
and learn
and be accountable, be open and willing to, coachable and all of that stuff, to, just doing things differently, because I am the one person, and I don't know if it is a BPD thing, but it's like to the point of just like draining myself dry, working myself into the ground. I will rather do it that way than a new way, because I don't know the new way. Change is scary, and it hurts sometimes, and sometimes you get told no, but you're always going to get told no, I guess, if you don't ask. And if you don't do the change, you're just going to eventually like get stuck in that hole you've dug for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is where I was at. So change. Scary, but necessary.
So there's also good pieces, but we have to go to our last quick sponsored break.
Commercial break.
Yes, once we get back, I will share my thoughts from what you were saying there too.
Yay.
So we'll be right back after this quick sponsored break.
$1,917 people die daily from suicide globally.
I lost my middle sister, Carrie, to a completed suicide on February 20th, 2017.
How does Kelli, host of the Make Mental Health Matter show, impact lives?
Number 1. Awareness.
My story, all over it, isn't unique. I am a domestic violence survivor and a recovering addict. For 14 years, I was in active addiction. And because of Kelli and the work that she does and the opportunity to have my voice heard, I was able to stay clean and sober and have hit a year. I'm still here. And if it wasn't for Kelli answering my call the day that I thought I was going to take my life.
2. Conversation.
I'm curious, and I know that I've heard a lot in the BIPOC community. It is very hush-hush. It's like one of those things that you don't talk about. Like, you literally feel like it's not a conversation you can have. So can you talk a little bit more about that?
First, shout out to Kelli, because I'm glad that she asked the question. I researched you before I went on your show, and I saw how real and authentic you were. And I just appreciate the question, because it is different and we have to have tough, courageous conversations. So yes, I always say I'm a triple diversity threat. I'm a Black woman with multiple disabilities. Now, I'm not really a threat, but to other people, I may be, because people fear the unknown and what they're uncomfortable with.
Number 3. Education.
Kelli's passionate commitment to mental health awareness is a beautiful thing. It's clear in her social media posts, it's clear in the resources that she puts together, in the activities that she provides, her collaboration with organizations, and the consistent way that she continues to deliver a message, encouraging people to understand that they can share openly and to break the stigma around mental health. Kelli's topics cover children and adults, talk about things that we can do as a community, things that we can do individually, and her website is packed with information and resources and all kinds of contacts that you can use to reach out, whether you're dealing with something yourself or you're looking to help somebody else who is struggling. I encourage you to check it out.
I don't know. And like that, we're back. Thank you for tuning in to the Make Mental Health Matter show. We're already way past halfway, so make sure you go back if you missed any part of this. No, yes, go listen, not listen. Listen.
Go back in time.
Yes, back in time. So you were talking about, so we've talked about a lot actually, and really how your story has evolved. You've learned so much about yourself, but there is a piece that I want to go back to just briefly, and then I want to move forward into what Break the Silence does.
Yes.
So, you were talking about that now you're starting to learn more about yourself, which I think is a really key point, because I know that over the past year and a half, you've done a lot of diving into self-development.
Yes, thanks to you, my friend. No shameless plug to your awesomeness in helping me get there. But yes, if anybody needs help, I know a girl. No, but it's like once you're willing to actually, it's the mirror. Once you're willing to like look in it and be like, oh, I have these, but also I'd be so overwhelmed and I'd beat myself up, and the timeline technique changed my life. So like, I like putting all the pins in it, and I'm just like, you know, what are the things that like really deserve me to put any sort of time, energy, and effort into it, and the people and the things. And the fact that I was extremely codependent and felt like I couldn't really rely on doing anything for myself without the input of at least 3 other people, you know, just otherwise I'm a failure. If I don't do it like so-and-so thinks I should do it, then it's not going to work. well, I'm going to do it how I think I should do it. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to ask questions.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe, but I just feel like if I don't do that, then I'm not going to learn and I'm not going to grow, and I'm just going to be whoever they think I should be. And somebody asked me, well, who are you without Break the Silence? I don't know. I'm, you know, a twin, a mom, an ex-spouse, a kid, or whatever. But who am I as a person? I don't know. It's been kind of fun figuring that out because, you know, it's only been about this last 7 months, this year, when I first started like dipping my pinky toe into the fact that the BPD and ADHD was a real thing, and that I was just living my life behind the mask, not using Break the Silence to hide on purpose, but kind of doing it. Just being like, who does Break the Silence need me to be? Now Break the Silence is a business.
Yeah.
I started it. I started it because I wanted to give people the space, the platform to like work through whatever, however they needed to work through it. But that's not me. I'm Kelli Paris. I love music and listening to the rain outside. I don't know, you know, what else?
Except for when it's right in the middle of a concert.
Indeed. Oh, yeah, that too. And the fact we set up for this festival over the weekend, and like, I love just collaborating with the Bobstock team, but it was like a full on, and I'm looking at my phone and I'm looking at the weather and I'm looking at the sky and I'm like, it's blue sky over here. I really feel like it's gonna blow over. And thank you to the Punishers team, to you know, the Foster Love team, my entire Break the Silence team, VSAP. We're holding on to our tents in the rain. We're holding them down. It's coming in sideways. We're hiding kids under the table. It's hailing. It's a deluge. Everything's soaking wet. So thank God that dried up, and we did a really cool foam party collab with the festival. They had music all day. There was probably 10,000 people. I don't know. It was great. But yeah, building a team, having the community and the platform, that's what it's all about. And I'm thankful to those folks for coming into my life, like you, and helping me figure out who I guess I am as a person.
Well, I know we always, all the time, as people and humans, we have learning to do, right? But I think the best part is that we go through these experiences and we learn. And it's not just like, not trying to make excuses for the past, not trying to, you know, but we only know as much as we know. And when we know more, we can do better, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
But I would love for you to share. So we have about, I don't know, like 10-ish minutes.
Cool.
But I would love for you to share, because you have the Breaking the Site, little bit. I keep trying to say Breaking the
Silence Resource Center.
You have the Resource Center, and you have the festival coming up in September.
Yes. So the festival, the Resource Center actually was like, it's like the festival's little sibling, I guess, because it came after we realized that there was a need for not only raising awareness after the third event, successful festival that we had. I was like, how do we bridge the gap in, you know, connecting people who are falling through the crack of traditional mental health services in the rural area that we live in? And a friend of mine at the coffee shop was like, hey, have you ever thought about what you're going to do? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I really don't know what we're going to do, you know? And she's like, have you ever thought about doing a resource center? What does that look like? You know, I don't know, but that's a great idea. So then came the idea, the thought of like applying for grants and pushing for it. So then we started doing that, and we got things put into place, and we were told, hey, if you raise this much money by the time the grant deadline is, you can be, it was like, what was the percentage of our capital of our project? Whatever the percentage was, 20% of the project or something. Either way, it was like $45,000 that we needed to raise in 2 weeks.
Wow. You're like, help.
Yeah, we did that though.
That's amazing.
And so then we applied for the grant and we didn't get it. And I was like, beat myself up, having a complete meltdown. Like, oh my God, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I'm wasting everyone's time and money. What are we going to do? We got all this money, but we didn't get the grant. Do we give it back to the people? And then the pandemic happened. Oh, well, now that you stand back and look at it, there's a really good reason why we didn't get that grant and start that project, because it would have fallen right on its face through the pandemic. And so instead, I took that time, like we restructured. We have like a new board, a new platform. We wrote over the last 3 years of restructuring the programs, honestly, because it's taken a lot to like put it into play. But then after the pandemic, the shutdown, everything opened up. We were able to look at the money that we had in the bank that we raised, that we sat on for those, you know, year and a half or whatever that it took. And instead of doing the construction to get the bigger building that we wanted, we were able to just like get it up to code and do the electrical and open it with the one office and the one main room. And it's been working for us great since we opened in July of 23. So
Nice.
2 years. And our youth group, we're doing workshops and training, and everything that we do out of our resource center is free to access. You know, unless we're taking donations for like meditations or something like that.
Yeah.
But we wanted it to be not a barrier of accessing services. And I am a peer support certified person, you know, I like to do the one-on-ones. Specifically, that's where I feel like I'm called to, but we have facilitators for groups and workshops and all that fun stuff going on. And our intern is running our really great youth group. So the resource center is a blessing, and it's been able to keep me focused on like the mission, and starting the Life is Beautiful venue series shows quarterly in Denver with amazing talent out of the Denver area. It's really exciting. So that leads me into the segue of the expansion of the festival this year and how much it's literally exploded in a great and exciting way. Because I'm like, Jay, it's so exciting. But 2 stages this year, and I got like super, because I always just feel like I'm always so excited and I'm talking about it and I'm like jazzed up, and some people are all put, how are you being so excited about like, you know, suicide prevention and all this? And I'm like,
it's music.
Yeah.
And people and
community. And then I'm like, well, let's think about, yes, it is a somber thing. Today we give respect for, you know, we're doing a moment of silence. We do the butterfly release. We're doing lanterns this year for the first time to like really give way. We're collaborating with the advocates, you know, on doing advocates, I can't say the word, Colorado Advocates for Recovery stuff.
Nice.
Like a wall in memory of those lost to addiction, combining with our already suicide prevention or our suicide loss survivor.
Yeah.
Again, I'm having
survivors. That's okay.
Yes,
you know,
we're done almost. The words, they're heavy. But I have to be reminding myself that it is okay to be happy about giving people avenues to make the choice to stay alive.
Yeah.
And it is okay to be excited about raising awareness for these things, but it's also okay to like give that space for the ones that we have lost, and you know, just be better taking care of ourselves and the people in our lives so we don't keep losing them.
Yeah. Well, and I think the one thing that especially for me is I now am in a place of celebration, right? For even the life of my sister is I celebrate her life. It's not, I'm not staying in the grieving, although, you know, those moments come up, right? Yeah.
But it's like the Let Them book says.
Right.
You know, I say, you know, you can't unpack there and move in.
Right. Right.
We just
and
have
if you
to
do,
accept it.
We need to find you alternative ways to get out of that. But
maybe you need to hire a mover or something.
Right. Like,
the festival has just like morphed, and the collaborations are huge, and the community is growing, and just like you've been a core collaboration, you know, like we've been in this for together, I don't know, for all this, what do we say, 9 years now. I've been planning it for 10. I don't know what that looks like anymore. It just bleeds. But like we're growing collaborations for our silent auction. We're doing a collective with another podcast host. We're doing the bike wash, a poker run, and wrestling. Wait, quiet.
You're like,
exciting announcement.
Yeah.
If you listen to the show, you guys get an exciting announcement. We're going to be having the Primos guys out, a WWE style show for the first time.
Fun.
So we're doing a lot of like new kid stuff. It's just going to be awesome.
Nice.
Come check
No,
it out.
I know, right? I threw a wrench in it this year, you know, with my
it's okay,
film festival, but
it's gonna be great.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, one of the festivals that I love going to, and I know, I mean, the first time you and I met, just because music and dance and everything, right? Both of our, I know, all of my life has been music with my
Right.
mom and dance and all the things. And so when we first met, I was like, yes, right?
Remember
It
what I
just
used to
felt
call
good.
it before it was Break the Silence? Because it was Break the Silence Festival,
Uh-huh.
and I was organizing it through my event planning business with this logo, remember?
Oh,
Music
yes.
is life.
Yeah.
So yeah, music is
Yeah.
life. Was my first business. I
Yeah.
kind of let it go, like registered, because like why do I need two organizations? But
Right.
anyway, music
Well, I love
is life.
I know, right? I love that you moved though into that nonprofit space
Yeah,
too,
it was
because
just
that was a
so
big.
many more doors open, and it gives
Yeah.
me the ability to be able to apply for grants, to offer training for free, to offer the workshops for free, to feed the kids in the youth group every 2 weeks. You know, by the way, I love those kids, but man, they can eat
Right.
and they can sure trash a space in no time,
Yeah.
but they clean it up well.
Right.
So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just great having the building and just seeing it be utilized. And I'll sit in my office and watch the cameras, because I like to let Kaylin run her group, and I'm just like get all misty-eyed, because if I had something like this when I was their age, I might not try to do what I did. And so like we want to save them, we want to give them the platform, I guess, to like be able to utilize their voices for whatever they think is important. Maybe it's not mental health awareness and suicide prevention. Maybe it's not music for them and it's art, you know, maybe it's poetry or whatever. So the creative arts corner that we're doing with the festival, we started last year. I think you were able to see that we're looking to expand it as well. So always more.
No, that's awesome. And eventually just duplicating, because rural areas need those resources so much. And I think that Fort Morgan has been a great space for learning and adapting and figuring it out. And then I know you're doing stuff in Denver, but I think that duplication is
That's a small
key.
secret I'll probably let your listeners into, but that's probably going to happen next year as well.
Yay!
Along with, hopefully, because we've been working on trying to get a tour with some bands for about a year. So I think 26 is the year for an actual tour as well. But I'm really hopeful. There's been some bands and venues that we have been talking with about actually hosting at least a full day, maybe a 2-day event. Because like, if we have a place that has a fence, which we don't have here, we could. So.
And the Break the Silence music tour bus.
Yeah, it's on my vision board. It's on my vision board, and so is Otherwise on my vision board to headline the festival. And guess who's headlining this year? So
Otherwise
other thing people, vision boards work.
Right.
Otherwise is
Nice.
Otherwise is
who else?
headlining.
So just shout out, because we only have a couple minutes left. But who would you love to have at the festival? Like big name.
So my dream logo, Shinedown and Jelly Roll, like combo, because of just what Shinedown is for me as a whole and what they represent, you know, just as a band and their stories, but also like what Jelly Roll has been able to overcome as a whole, and just like his story and how he talks about giving people the second chances, and like recovery is real, and it's just like those two, but Shinedown.
All right.
And then
so if anybody out there knows Shinedown or Jelly Roll, but I think you're on a good path, because I know, especially since you're combining with advocates, Colorado Advocates for Recovery, as we do a ton of stuff with them.
They're awesome. I'm excited for the rally this year. So.
We'll be there too. So, yay! So, just tell the audience really briefly where they can go to learn more about you, your organization, and all the things.
Yes, absolutely. So, our website is www.breakthesilenceinc.org. So you can find all of the cool stuff that we're doing there. Our Facebook page is probably the most active of our socials, which is Break the Silence Inc., as well as we are on Instagram, Break the Silence Inc.
Cool.
And you can email me at kelly@breakthesilenceinc.org, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yay. Well, this conversation was amazing.
Yes, thank you.
I know,
so much.
and I'm glad that you were able to come
Me too.
Into town and actually do the
same, because I'm like, I don't want to call in. It's just not the same energy.
No, it's not.
So like be on Zoom or whatever. This is much more fun.
Way more fun. Well, no matter what you do, make sure that you come back next Monday, because we have another amazing another episode that we're doing.
It's an event.
Yes, an event.
All the way.
Always. But thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're watching or listening, and I will see you next week. Bye, y'all. Bye.